So time matters, and China is running out of time. And the question is, can they adopt the kind of policy reforms necessary to boost productivity sufficiently, to grow sufficiently in order to break that barrier? And I think they're running out of time. Point number two, what will determine whether or not they adopt the policies necessary to do that, as Kevin rightly pointed out, is politics. Is Xi Jinping and Li Keqiang, are they willing to pay the political costs necessary? And I would say the jury is still out on that. Obviously, the big disappointment, I would say, of the international community of analysts, policymakers, and financiers has been how little of the third plenum reforms have been realized. It's from my perspective as a longtime China watcher, it's clear that in Xi Jinping's first term, he devoted his political capital to anti-corruption, party reconstruction and rectification, reform of the PLA, an incredibly costly political task. It doesn't get covered enough, but nonetheless very, very difficult, and some aspects of foreign affairs. So I think in the second term, clearly he's going to focus more of his laser beam on the economy. The question is he willing to pay the political cost? And the way I look at it is, I don't think Xi Jinping necessarily is a reformer. I think he is a modernizer. And the reason that distinction is critical is because Xi Jinping's views about the economy are informed by a series of, let's call them Leninists and nationalist political beliefs, not a full-throated embrace of the market. So I think what we're going to see in the next 5 years is a tension play out between those nationalist Leninist beliefs and market forces, and which are going to prevail. The kind of beliefs I'm talking about are things like the importance of party control and centralized decision-making. Number two, a decreased reliance on foreign technology. 3, reducing exposure to external risks, especially global markets. 4, setting global rules and standards, especially in industries where China wants to be a global leader. ICT is the most obvious example. And number 5, building global brands across different sectors. And those beliefs, adherence to those beliefs, do not lead you to a firm, complete embrace of the market. It doesn't lead to a full implementation of third plenum reforms. What it leads you to is a very mixed picture, where on the one hand, in order to stem systemic risk, for example, in order to reform the financial sector, to prevent an immediate economic heart attack, I think you're going to see a much more robust embrace of the market. But when it comes to things like the exchange rate and capital account, because of the beliefs that I talked about, much more likely to be a very gradual, incremental approach, which hold back certain aspects of the ability for China to rebalance to consumption and services and ultimately embrace innovation.